I'm Sam here at Rick Jones Pianos, and this is a really nice Steinway. Wow. This is a model Steinway O built in New York City in 1914. Yes, 1914, which we've had rebuilt in the past. It received new strings, tuning pins, pin block, finish, new it's original hardware, brass, which has been polished. And we also installed a new action in this piano. It has Ronson hammers, which are made in upstate New York, mounted on oval hammers and oval shanks and flanges. And then the weapons are made by Tokiwa in Japan, all of which, in my opinion, are excellent quality parts. And when properly regulated, as this piano has, we get really good results. It's a piano, as I recall, that someone purchased from us and then traded back in for a larger Steinway. There's, in my opinion, few reasons why you would want to trade this in except to get a larger Steinway. And as I recall, the piano we got was really nice. This really wonderful example, I think, of a Steinway O. Especially if you're used to especially the modern sound of Steinways. This piano very much has, in my opinion, a sound similar to the warm, creamy, mellow, more introverted sound that newer, later model Steinways, S's, M's, and O's made in New York tend to have. To rate the tone, I'll call it a 4 on the scale from 1 to 10, and you can really bring out a bolder sound if you want to. The piano has dynamic range, and Steinways in general always sound larger than they look. This is only 5 foot 10 inches long, but part of the prestige that Steinway has earned for themselves over the many decades, over a century now, has been their excellence of design and engineering to get a piano under 6 feet long to still sound like it's over 6 feet long. And that was, I think, a major thing when Steinway first made this piano, the Model O, that came out in 1900, as I recall. A lot of manufacturers at the time struggled to make a piano shorter than 6 feet, a grand piano shorter than 6 feet, sound good, especially at the break, the tenor break, where the treble strings, or in this case the tenor, the plain steel strings cross underneath the bass strings, which is on a separate bridge, and which are wound with copper. The thicker wire is necessary for the string of that particular length. The length that is limited by the size of the piano. It's necessary to have that thicker string to produce the same low frequency at a reasonable tension. And as I said, a lot of manufacturers struggle to really make that transition of tone smooth. especially the baby grands, which Steinway wasn't doing yet when this piano was made. That wouldn't come for another 20 years, but when it did a really good job. Though at this time, this was the smallest piano Steinway made, the smallest grand, and indeed on the plate, I believe it should say miniature somewhere. Yes, it was the miniature piano at the time, and it's embossed on the plate here all the way on the left, to the left of all the patent numbers that they proudly displayed back then. So this was the miniature Steinway at the time. And that transition that I keep on talking about here, it's in there somewhere. It's those two notes. This is the highest note on the bass bridge. This is the lowest note on the treble bridge. And it's really hard to tell that they're on two completely different parts of the soundboard. For a lot of other brands at that time, it would have been pretty obvious. And although some people liked it, a lot of people didn't. And Steinway's idea was to make that as smooth as possible, along with the whole rest of the registers around the keyboard, the high, middle, low. That is one of the things that is, in my opinion, a characteristic of the Steinway sound, and which really influenced, I think, the majority of piano makers since then. And I say this for all the Steinways shorter than 6 feet. This came out in 1900, the Model M came out in 1911, just a little bit before this piano was made. Oh, right, so I forgot. They had been making the Model M for 3 years before this piano was made, so minor correction there, but in the S in 1935. And it's proven to be very successful for them because these smaller Steinways are some of their most popular piano models because people want a really premium piano, but maybe don't have a whole lot of space for it. And that's what this piano delivers you, a really premium musical experience for under 6 feet in length. So it's just enough to really fill a modest living room with a beautiful wall of sound. But it's not so loud that it will overwhelm your ears. There's really no harshness in the tone whatsoever of this piano. It's been voiced very carefully. It's so smooth, just really gentle and soft when you play softly. So that all earns it a 4 on a scale from 1 to 10 for the tone. From mellow to bright, it's on the mellow side, but you got a really wide dynamic range. And I didn't play so much of the bass, but you got that power if you need it. The touch, I would say, is on the firm side. In my opinion, not quite like the firm touch Steinways that have been made since the 1980s, due to a number of technical reasons that are difficult to explain about the ratios of the keys with all the parts. In my opinion, in the early 20th century, the feel of the keys for Steinways it's a little different than the feel of the keys of more modern Steinways because of the ratios of everything, at least on average. There's always exceptions. This, I think, is typical of the time period, and we've said it in a lot of our previous videos, where the keys seem to float under your fingers. This piano has it. It's a little bit more of a firmer version of that, so it's not an easy piano to play. But when you need it to play fast, like with that Mozart sonata, his sonata in A minor, if you want to look it up, the piano delivers, and it feels really fast. And that's a large part of what makes the keyboard feel so responsive on this piano. And it's one of my favorite things about early 20th century Steinways. So between 1900 and World War II approximately, they have that floaty feel, but this is more of a firm version of it. So that gets a 6 on the scale from 1 to 10, from light to firm. Very satisfying to play. And even though it has more of that floaty feel, which in my opinion it's hard to find on newer Steinways, it's not going to be an unfamiliar touch if you're used to firmer touch Steinways, such as what you'd have to play at schools, especially all Steinway schools. It's going to be familiar, but it has that early 20th century feel to it. It's the best of both worlds, I think. Well, really beautiful piano. I hope you can come out and see it for yourself. You can play it along with anything else in their inventory. But if you can't make it, please give us a call or send us an email if you have any questions. Thanks.